It's Friday night impromptu at Harv's World. That's right. Yeah, I missed the last couple of Fridays. I know, I know. Ah, work's been ramping up, so I've been beat. Gotta tell you. By about 8:30 last night, I had some serious yawns going on. I was like, oh man. Anyway, so far so good. Eric Kuntz, Dust Bunny, and Too Cool. Three of our more prominent regulars. Good to have you guys with us tonight. Looks like Too Cool's going to be right back. Kevin, how's the big Kev? So, I'm pretty close to wrapping up No Man's Land. I gotta tell you, this farm is massive, like stupid huge. I own most of the property on No Man's Land now. I'll show you what's been going on. I think I'm going to get one more year out of it, and then I'll probably pull the plug. But man, there's so much work that's going on here. Mostly thanks to Courseplay. Speaking of which, I've got 2 additional fields. This wheat field just wrapped up harvesting. And you can see I've got 300,000 liters of wheat and a major truckload of straw. And I need to move this harvester to a new field, because I've got 2 other fields of sorghum that need to be harvested. And I gotta try to oh yeah, I know where it is. Okay. I was about to say, I need to remember where that sorghum is planted as I drive through the sunflowers. I've already got a helper planting canola over here on my main field. I forgot to plant canola last year, so I have a serious canola shortage. It's a major component in most of my operations these days, and I didn't get any. So that'll be another year's wait, but it'll all work out in the end. I had plenty of products stored up, also known as pig food. So how's everybody doing? Y'all have a good week, good weekend? It was a short week at work because of the 4th of July holiday, but man, was it ever hectic. Good God. I hit the ground running at 7 o'clock and didn't leave until 4:30 or 5 any given day. And that's pretty much going constantly the whole time. Had a big project on Wednesday. I had a farmer who was shy on his farm by about 4,000 acres that we had recorded. And those 4,000 acres were on 3 other farms. It's a long story. I'm not going to get into the details of how they got put somewhere else. It was all done justly, I'll say that much. But I had to take the acres off of those other farms and give them back to him. So that took the better part of a day, because nothing is ever that simple, right? Of course, right? So I'm going to get this helper doing canola over here. Good, that was quick and easy. Harvest, forest, harvest. This guy's planting canola. Good. I'll have to do a little cleanup work, but... And then this guy's going to harvest sorghum over here also. Same situation. I asked on the stream on Wednesday. That is not what I want. I think this set me up as a multi-tool course, and that's not what I wanted to do. Yeah, I do. It's multiple tools. I put both harvesters working on my sunflower field, and so they like to remember that they were working together before, and now I don't want them to work together. I want them to work independently. There he goes. Excellent. So I asked on my Wednesday stream if anybody had any good map recommendations for PC. It doesn't have to be on Mod Hub, but what have you guys been playing? What might you be playing? What might you recommend as a great map? I don't care if it's big or small, it just has to be a darn good map. That's all I care about. Okay, I got 2 helpers harvesting, 1 helper seeding, and I'm going to finish baling. Too cool. It most certainly does have store deliveries. Absolutely. Oh, there you go, kid. Yeah. I'll bet you, you don't think about that, all the different things that happen during the summer, but yeah, I'm sure places like yours do ramp up people going on vacation, which is still kind of surprising. Gas prices being what they are, people just aren't going to let that slow them down, are they? And of course, my good friend Adolphus Coors is visiting this evening, which he hasn't visited in about a month, which is practically a crying shame. Green Valley, Nebraska. I have not tried that one yet. Haven't even looked at it. I haven't had much time to just jump around. That's why I'm looking for help on this one. I don't have a lot of time to just go jump and check maps out. Zala Volgie? That must be a Polish map. Did I really run my harvester out of fuel? Tank. Oh, no, that's the cedar. My throttle's stuck. The cedar done ran out of fertilizer. Too cool. I need one of your vacations, too cool. I need some big fat shrimp and walks on the beach, man. Get away from it all. Yeah, that's a fair point, Kev. I grew up in a family, I mean, we didn't have a lot of money anyway, but we never went on summer vacations, planned trips, nothing like that. The best we were going to get is a day at the local beach. Not that I'm complaining, you know. You don't know what you're missing if you've never had it. And that's just the way it was. I know a lot of people grew up, they have regular vacations every year, and the family plans a big trip and the whole 9 yards. We never did all that. There was a small little lake in the middle of nowhere in Indiana that my parents we'd go camping occasionally, maybe once a year if we were lucky. But it's not, not like going out into the forest type camping. It was on a flat lot. Basically what used to be farmland. So, yeah, it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not complaining. Run, Forrest, run. There you go. Make sure my chickens are fed. These chickens have made me a lot of money. Oh, I guess they're full. Green Valley, Nebraska, and Zala Volgie. I'll have to look at those. Isn't Green Valley, Nebraska, isn't that a 4 times map? Big map? I want to say it is. And for right now, all I want to do is get these bales baled. I can pick them up. No, I can't. I got to get them all collected because wheat has to go back in this field in September. Oops. Well, speaking of summer vacations, anybody have any big plans for summer vacations? It looked like I was going to end up taking a trip to Reno this coming week for a managers meeting that was scheduled, but now Reno has had a sudden uptick in COVID cases, so they've canceled the managers meeting. At least they've canceled it in person. Now it's going to go back to Teams. If you don't know what Teams is, it's basically an interface. Kind of like Discord. And I have to tell you, there's no real, well, unless you slow time down to a crawl, which I try not to do, but I do when I'm setting up a stream. Without helpers, you're not working a farm this big very efficiently or effectively. Found Zala on Mod Network. Green Valley is a 4x map. Interesting. I'll have to look at both of those. If it's good enough for you two, cool. It's definitely good enough for me. And I know you had said not too long ago you were having a hard time finding a map you could really get into. So what's your first impressions on that one? If you can type and or don't type, if you can voice and drive at the same time. Oh, Lake Erie. I know it says Lake Eric, but I'm sure it's Lake Erie. I need one of those. Literally need one, like go somewhere and just pull the plug on everything and step away for a while, but I don't have that luxury just yet. Maybe next year. Maybe next year I need to think about taking a trip abroad. I've never been off of this continent. Oh, man. Your wife has it so rough too, cool. Of course, you get the benefits of that. Very cool. I'd love to take an Alaskan cruise. I would love to go up the west coast along the Canadian coastline and into Alaska and then ride the ship back down. That would be amazing, and that would get me to one more of the 50 states that I haven't been to. And Hawaii looks like a beautiful place. It's just never been one of those that I've gone, man, I gotta get to Hawaii one of these days. Top countries to visit. Anybody have a major country on their bucket list that they would just absolutely love to visit? Oh, gotcha. Gotcha too, cool. Now, when you say places for production, does that mean they have all the productions installed, or there's lots of open areas for you to place your factories as you build them? And on Wednesday's stream, somebody was also talking about HarvCon. They're like, we need to have a HarvCon in Vegas. Harley, how have you been? I know you're a frequent lurker, not a big chatter. It's good to see you again, though. Oh, that's a good one, Hockey Boy. That's a good one, and welcome to Harv's World. Good to have you with us. Gotcha, too cool. So, Harley, is there a particular reason you'd like to go to Afghanistan? I sense a tad bit of sarcasm, but that might not necessarily be true. Yeah, I would say so, Eric. If you're only running onboard graphics, like graphics built into a motherboard, that may not be enough. It depends on the specs of your PC, though. It's really more about the how much RAM do you have and video RAM do you have. But you can't go wrong with a good solid video card. So I think if I can get this, the next month's going to be busy. Let's take a look. I know coming up I've got corn and sorghum to harvest at the same time. That's in October. Or sunflower. No, sunflower, corn, and soybeans all happen in October. And that's a lot of harvesting in 1 month. Might have to see about picking up another harvester. I won't have the money for it. Oh well, I'll just have to make do. For the most part, this farm is bringing in about 1.8 million a year now. And I can easily ramp that up probably to 2.5, maybe 3 million with the fields I've got going. I just put in a brand new field that hasn't even been planted yet. That's going to become my permanent sorghum field. And then I'll show you how ridiculous my pigs have gotten when I take this baler back. And yeah, I'm going to cut over a freshly planted field to do that. Ah, that's absolutely true, Harley. It would be fun to explore another culture. So this is my hog operation at the moment. I have 4 pens. I don't even know how many hogs I've got. Every time I get newborns, I move them to a new pen. I have this thought in mind to get on some kind of a rotation. I just haven't sorted out exactly what that rotation's gonna be yet. But like these, no, not those. The guys over there, those are the newest ones. I want to say they're 4 months old. Plus I'm trying to figure out exactly how long it takes pigs to procreate. Because pigs are all about fattening and selling. Unfortunately, FS22 does not at the moment give us options for meat processing. Dust Bunny, let me show you. These are actually pretty cool. They're a pack that was brought over from, I think they're base game FS19. But I'll go in and show you. Although I don't think it will tell me what the name of the pack is. It's this large pig enclosure right here. I did mod it to suit my playstyle a little bit. But it's those. Then there's the cow pastures. These are definitely from FS19. They are on Mod Hub, and I'm pretty darn sure they're available for all platforms. Is there chickens? Yeah, I think it's the Animal Placeables pack is what it's called. Or the Animal Pen pack, maybe. No, it's the Animal Placeables pack. I'm almost sure that's what it is. Yep, that's what it is. Animal Placeables pack. It is on Mod Hub. Get this wheat put away. Start collecting these bales. Absolutely. Anytime, Death Bunny. Anytime. Oh, while this wheat's tipping in, I'll just show you the map and show you exactly how ridiculous I've become building fields on this map. I've taken a cue straight out of Caveman's playbook. You guys always joke about caveman with a plow. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do, Harv. So here's the map, and these are my fields. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is the new one right here that I snaked through all of these big trees. Yeah, and I leave them ugly. You know, I like having the forest. I like having different natural obstacles. If everything is square and rectangular, it gets boring, in my opinion. Oh, there you go, Eric. Yeah, that'll do you fine. I think I'm running a 1060, and it suits me perfectly fine. So, yeah, you'll do well with that. See if I can't get some of this sorghum off these guys before they... Oh, this guy's trucking right along. And yeah, I know I'm running through the crop and I shouldn't be doing that, but... I have to grab this stuff while I can. Exactly, Kevin. Couldn't have said it better myself, bud. Hey, Midge, making bacon pancakes. Not for me. I don't like to mix sweet and salty, but that's me. Like the guys who put bacon on their donuts and all of that. No, I just give it to me straight, man. I know. I'm not the most adventurous soul in the world. That's probably why I'm sitting here on a Friday night playing a farm sim. Well, that because I'm a crotchety old man, but we're not going to get into that. Now these fields normally harvest cleaner than this, but not today for some reason. Gonna end up with a really good amount of sorghum though. I'm glad I planted these two fields. This is normally my barley field, but since I forgot to plant canola, I planted barley in the canola field. So this became a second sorghum field, but I have been running a big shortage of sorghum too, so not no mo. Alright, that'll get my production back up and running again. I'm gonna have to do a lot of cleanup work behind this cedar. That's alright. And this is, for those of you who haven't seen, this is the Omatana pig food mixer. Brilliant little mod. The nice thing is, it actually acts as a silo as well. It will pull crop directly from my Omatana silo sitting right there. And if I want to, even though I'm putting all this sorghum in, I can load a trailer of sorghum straight from this if I don't use it all, so I could sell it off at the end of the season. Omatana knows her stuff, man. She always makes mods that do fill a need that you didn't even know you had. No, I want the other Fent. And then just today, just before the stream, I decided it was time for a bale barn. I've just been stacking them behind my main shed over there, and that worked for a while. But this is going to simplify the process of moving bales. Because God knows I have a couple to move. See, too cool, if your wife is going to Hawaii, I think she needs to talk to her work and tell them that she has several consultants that she needs to bring with her, and see if they just won't pay for her to have a little entourage. You can tell them it's Harv's consulting service. And don't mind the unusual names like Sharko and Caveman. These are industry code names for guys who really get their consulting down pat. I think that's the ticket right there. I mean, come on, if they're flying her to Hawaii, they've got a few extra dollars in their pocket for some Harv's World consultant team. We could get Lifehawk to go, and we could almost pull it off. There you go. Harv is her emotional support digital farmer, and she can't go anywhere without an emotional support digital farmer. And I just happen to be the farmer of choice. Of course, I'll, just hang out with Too Cool and drink all weekend. But, that means I'm keeping an eye on her husband. That's emotional support, right? That's taking care of something so she doesn't have to worry about it and she can focus on her work. Oh, outstanding, Kevin. I can't wait to hear that, man. That first one that you sent me was fantastic. Really, really good. You spending a lot of time behind the drum kit these days? If you're gonna cut a CD, I imagine you guys are practicing your butts off. Now, unfortunately, the bale barn that I'm using is made by a modder named Casa Farms, who actually is a member of Harv's World Discord. I haven't seen him in a while, but for some reason, this particular mod is no longer available on ModHub. I happened to grab a copy when it first dropped, and he announced it. And when I went back to the link to try to find it again so I could hand it off to Caveman and Sharko for our NF March $1 million a month playthrough, it's not available anymore, and I don't know what might have happened. But it is a pretty slick barn, because the nice thing is you can drop bales in, which are much easier to collect. And I can move almost 300,000 liters of straw off the field at a time, collecting it in bales, where to try to do that loose would be a real hassle. But you can pull straw out of that bale barn loose. It has a tip point where you can fill a trailer with loose straw if you want to. So you can remove it as bales, or you can remove it as loose. And I find that very, very handy. Oh, I'll bet your arms are sore, bud. It's always, you see rock and roll bands and stuff on stage. The keyboard player is never sweating. The bass player is rarely sweating, but the drummer is always sweating profusely. You guys work your butts off up there, man. And honestly, I could not. I mean, I've been a musician, not a rock musician, but classical orchestra and symphonic band type stuff. But I'm lucky to move both hands independently. How you get both hands moving separately and both feet moving separately at the same time is beyond me. Like, that's a skill I know I will never have, or even if I did have it, I'd never master it. Yeah, we're doing good for a Friday night. Friday nights always start off slow, but we pick up over time. And of course, the more Adolphus visits me, the chattier and more ridiculous I become, but that's part of the fun. That's the whole point of Friday night impromptus, just to chill, relax, play a little bit on my own, or whatever. And that reminds me, I forgot to do something I normally do for Friday nights. So while these bales fill in, I will take care of that. Oh, look at that. Too Cool beat me to the punch even. Now we can hear the background noise of his truck running down the road if he turns his microphone back on. A lot of times on Friday nights when I'm doing the impromptus, I will hop into the Discord and join the members only channel.
Hey, Harv.
Hey, Too Cool. Buddy Rich on Carson, outstanding. His tank is in, man. Well, this is a massive field. that he's working on at the moment. So let me get him filled back up again.
Just let me know if you get any background noise.
No, you're fine, bud. I'm just, you know me. I'm always just, trying to fill in space. So I'll say anything to keep the conversation moving forward. That's all it is. Hockey boy, what concert did you go to? And actually, too cool. Your audio today sounds much cleaner than it normally does. Like it's real clear today. Yeah. Did you get a phone upgrade or something?
No, same thing.
Same bat phone, same bat channel. Same destination as always, I imagine.
Yep, same route.
How many years have you been running that route?
I've been doing this route for 22 years.
Wow. And how many miles is that from the time you leave to the time you get home?
420 actually.
So
no pun intended.
So you're doing basically 2100 miles a week.
Yeah, somewhere around there. The way I figured it out, every 10 years is about 1 million miles.
So you've run that route for 2 million miles. Wow. Oh, Hockey Boy, that's right up my alley. I love Hailstorm. Hailstorm and the Pretty Reckless. Two bands I really, really like. And how do you keep from not just going cross-eyed too cool? Doing that same route every night.
It's a different night. It's a different route every night. I mean, the traffic is different. Weather's pretty much the same, but it's a different night every night. Same route, but it's same but different.
I guess it would make you really, really, really appreciate the little things. Oh, well, there was a blue car in the left lane tonight instead of the red one I normally see. That was really unusual. I did something like that for a few months.
Yeah.
I don't think it was quite as long, and it wasn't as intensive as maybe a UPS route could be. It was running automotive parts to an auto factory from Ohio to Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Now, do they normally have your trailers loaded and ready to go when you get there?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
I might have to wait for them to finish loading, but it's, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes or so, no big deal. But for the most part, they're ready to go.
But you're getting paid hourly anyway, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think I was still, no, maybe for that company I was mileage, or hourly, I mean, and not mileage. I can't remember. That was a long time ago and far, far away. I'll bet he does, Midge. Midge says it would be weirder if you started recognizing the vehicles on your route, and I'm like, I'll bet you see the same cars and trucks a lot of the time.
Yeah, a lot of the time. So I see the same FedEx guy every night because I pick him up on my route about halfway back to my home base and follow him in, or he follows me in.
Now, Oh, do you ever get stuck in that situation where, because this still happens. I've been caught in it as just a regular car driver, but I've also had to deal with it as a truck driver in that situation where your truck or another two trucks are governed half a mile off from each other and neither one is willing to slow down to let the other one pass.
Yes, exactly.
And so
Exactly.
15 miles later, one of them will finally inch past the other one and clear the lane.
Yes. You got 10 miles of cars behind you trying to pass the guy in the slow lane.
Yep. One time, this might actually have happened in Texas too. I can't quite remember, but it seems to me this was in Texas. I was in that situation where I was just slowly trying to pass somebody, and it was taken for bloody ever, and he wouldn't slow down to save his life, and I couldn't go any faster, and I'm just about far enough past him where I can think about pulling over, and he wasn't governed. He just had his cruise control set. So he just mashes the accelerator and goes blowing past me on up the road. And, half a mile of traffic is now passing me on the right. I'm trapped in the left-hand lane now. And, of course, I'm number one by everybody.
Yep.
And if you don't know what I mean by number one, that might be a little bit of middle finger action. Yeah, they were not pleased. Neither was I. I'm like, dude, really?
Uh-huh. Yeah, and all this time to hammer down, and you've just been fiddling around, and then everybody blames you.
That's one of the
for holding up traffic.
That's one of the things that, now don't get me wrong, I respect truck drivers. I've been one long haul and whatnot, but one of the things that is annoying about truck drivers is how bored they get, because they will do anything, obnoxious or otherwise, to pass the time. And obviously that guy was just bored. He's like, let's just mess with people. Which is why I had my CB turned off most of the time. You always had those jabberjaws who were trying to start fights or stir up trouble.
Oh yeah.
Always.
Yep. And I got rid of it 17 years ago, and hadn't had the use for it.
Well, when I was driving, it was pre-cell phone, so
yeah,
CB was your only choice. Oh, there we go. That's done. See, a little bit of cleanup work. Courseplay had the job done, no problem. Same thing on the sorghum fields. I'll have to go clean those up too. Now, what would be weirder is if you saw the same FedEx driver every night, and then you were getting together for barbecue on the weekends. I'm like, man, you guys are seeing way too much of each other on the road.
I used to know the guy. But he retired.
Oh, yeah?
The new guy, yeah.
Wearing out a lot of cassette tapes. There you go, Midge. Yep, didn't even have. Oh, this guy didn't quit for some reason. All right, I'll shut you down manually. Yeah, I used to have a whole, like a big double briefcase full of cassette tapes, and then in my my side compartment where I kept my luggage and stuff, I also had a big box of about 30 or 40 VHS movies So when I was stuck at one of our terminals, I could pop in a movie. They always had a TV and a VHS player, which the other guys always appreciated. Anybody who was stuck at the terminal waiting on the load or something.
Oh my goodness.
What? What happened?
I don't know if y'all heard that. I just got passed by about 10 Harley Davidsons.
Oh no, didn't hear
And
that.
they're in the high occupancy vehicle lane too. The HOV lane. I don't think they're supposed to be there. I don't think.
Probably not. I've never had to deal with one of those lanes, so I don't know what the criteria is. Is that like,
Where you're supposed to have 2 or more people in the car to be in that lane.
oh yeah,
It's kind of like a carpool lane type situation where you have your own lane.
yeah. When I lived in California for a couple of years, and they had those. People would buy mannequins and stuff to put in their passenger seat just so they could use them. No exaggeration. They really would. That was one of the weird things about moving out west. You know, because when I was younger, I had quite the lead foot, and I got a few speeding tickets in a row. So I learned my lesson, and I used to be real easy on the gas pedal. You know, never more than 4 miles an hour over the speed limit, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Get to California, you get killed trying to do that.
Yeah.
Southern California on the freeways, I mean, that's what I was doing, and I was getting my doors blown off by everybody. I was creating a hazard on the road by trying to drive safe.
Mm.
Motorcycles can use the HOV lanes in Georgia. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well,
Maybe.
they might be able to do it here. I don't know.
They can do it in Texas as long as they have a big yellow rose on the side of their fuel tank. Seriously, too cool. In the time you've lived in Texas, how many times do you suppose you've sung the Yellow Rose of Texas?
Maybe a handful.
Okay, how many times have you heard the
Oh.
Yellow Rose?
A lot in the younger day.
Yeah. Oh, this guy actually did okay. All right. Well, that sorghum field's done.
Those motorcycle guys all had leather vests on with the big emblem on the back. I didn't see the emblem, but it's 86 degrees right now at 11 o'clock at night. So
Ouch. 86
I
at
hope they're
11
not-
o'clock?
I hope they're not getting too cold.
Then again,
It ought to be pretty close to that in Nevada where you're at.
I don't know. I never leave the house. I'm a terrible homebody. I really am. I ain't going out there.
Don't blame you.
What do you think I'm doing here on a Saturday night?
Right? Or Friday night. I hope it's not
Or
Saturday.
Friday?
Well,
Yeah,
it's
it is
Saturday.
Friday night.
Saturday morning here in a little bit.
Thanks, Kevin. Thank you very much, man. I still have room for a few more fields if I think I need them, but I don't think I just put in that new one just for dedicated sorghum production, and I think that's probably going to be it. And for the record, Kev, just so you know, that little plan that we discussed a while back, don't think I've given up or forgotten about that. It's still a thing. Just as I keep telling everybody, it's just a matter of getting this job settled once and for all. The downside of the job is that it takes the same kind of efforts as producing videos does. So after doing 9 or 10 hours at work and having to try to use the same skill set for another 4 or 5 hours, I'm just not a young man anymore. I guess I can't do it all. I can't be everything all at the same time, and it frustrates me because I love making the videos, but I love having a bank account and health insurance just as much. And as I said, I'm not getting any younger, so that health insurance becomes very, very important.
Yes, it does.
It is what it is. Thanks, Kev. I appreciate it, man. You know, my job is very much about you know, thinking through problem solving, creative problem solving, constantly absorbing new knowledge and information, and then finding ways to simplify and impart that to other people. And that's exactly what I do in my YouTube videos, and I just can't do both at the same time. I wish I could. Maybe 20 years ago I could have. It was so easy when, you know, I wasn't working, but then that's a whole other story. No, I don't want to do that yet.
Not enough hours in the day.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, iPlay, how are you doing? See, tonight's the night that you should have been comforted in the Southern style like you were on Wednesday, because then I would have a buddy to imbibe with. Yeah, I'm not getting through there. I thought maybe I could sneak by, but I guess I'll have to go around this. Me either, Midge. I do like the 9 to 5s. Are you considered a swing shift too cool, or
No, I start at 8:30 in the evening, and I get off at about 7 in the morning.
oh wow, those are long runs too.
At least I'm home every night, or every day. Not every night, every day.
And what is that, like
But,
you average an 11-hour day?
well, with the lunch hour here, it's about 10
There you
and
go.
a half or so, which is enough for me.
Absolutely. Alright, I play load up. My average is, I mean, my normal day is a 9. Some days are 9, 9.5, or 10, depending on the workload or the projects I've got to try to finish up. It's kind of hard sometimes to quit in the middle of something and then come back to it later because you've got so many different irons in the fire to complete it, and so you just want to keep it all working.
Yeah.
There you go, Kevin. Now, here's a question for you, Kev. Now, I know you're a good guy and all that, and I'm sure Karen does too. I'm sure she does, but does she ever get a little bit jealous? Because, you know, you rock stars and musicians, man. You know what happens. Out there, you know, people are drinking, listening to the band. They're like, man, look at that hot guy playing the drums up there. Because she knows you're getting hit on. So I just wonder if that ever causes you any turmoil. I wouldn't imagine so. I think, you know, I'm sure Karen understood that was part of the gig and that you're a straight shooter and all that. I just imagine, you know, for a lot of musicians, that could really become a problem. Especially if they're not not as clean cut and straightforward as you are, man. Rotating 12-hour shifts. Wow. Kevin. Come on, man. Everybody knows. Everybody knows that rock musicians attract women like crazy. But I'll bet none of them can cook the way Karen can. Kevin used to tell us about all the amazing stuff that Karen used to cook for him. See, maybe that's why, you know, me and long-term relationships don't last, because I have yet to meet anybody who can cook better than I can. At least on a romantic level. Okay, we could finally get back to finishing this bale collecting. I think. Maybe. I don't know where Lifehawk is tonight. He normally always jumps in. He's been, I know he's been getting a lot more social lately, which is very cool, very good for him.
Yeah.
He is, whether he wants to admit it or not, he's a very socially oriented person. And
Oh, yeah.
And I know he misses opportunities to, because of COVID and the way Canada gets locked down the way they do. I know he's missed a lot of the time he used to spend with friends and family and such, so good for him. He's finally getting that opportunity again. Absolutely, Eric. Up until I started streaming and making videos, it was never a concern of mine either. I'm like, yeah, I'll take medium or low graphics as long as it doesn't look too horrible. I'll play the game. I still, to this day, don't understand the need for what is it, 4D TV? Is that what am I thinking about that right? Whatever. Super high def television. Like, I don't know, my TV looks pretty good. My computer monitor looks pretty good. I don't need higher definition. I can see what I need to see, and I can play what I need to play. I'm a man of simple pleasures, really.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nope. I live my life by the KISS rule.
Keep it simple, silly.
Keep it simple, stupid. Absolutely. And when I say stupid, I'm talking about myself. I think human beings in general make a habit out of complicating things that don't necessarily need to be complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't doubt that for a second, Kev. Don't doubt it for a second, my friend.
Yeah, I remember when we got our first microwave oven, man. We were uptown. We could heat stuff up, you know, a fraction of the time it took to put up the oven.
I remember a traveling salesman, not traveling, but a salesman scheduled a visit with my parents. And I was a little kid, and I know the house we were living in at the time, so I had to be younger than 9 years old. This would have been in the early 70s, like maybe 72, 73.
Mm-hmm.
And they weren't called microwaves back then, they were called radar waves.
Oh.
Yeah, this guy's coming over to show us a radar wave oven.
Oh.
My parents didn't buy it, of course, because they never could have afforded a brand new fancy gadget like that. But
Sure.
It was cool to see.
Yeah.
I'll bet Eric has some trivia about that. Eric always has trivia about the things we talk about. Or at least a memory. What games are you playing these days, Eric? I know you're, still big into Farm Sim, but do you ever break off and play something different?
I see Call of the Wild now is going to make a fishing game, a standalone fishing game. Call of the Wild, the Angler, it's called.
Really?
It's supposed to be out later. Yeah, later this year.
That could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's not too Call of the Wildish. I mean, Call of the Wild, you practically need to be a professional hunter to play that game successfully. And you better be bloody patient.
Yeah.
Or you're not bagging anything.
I still watch some of the videos that Jaxie Beard puts out. And
when I was trying to learn, there was a lady, was it Lady XO or something like that?
I know who you're talking about.
Just getting started.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. She did a video with Beard, with Jaxie Beard one time.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember. Lady something.
Yeah, Lady something XO, and I can't remember either. Mr. Tutton, how are you doing, bud? How's the wild world of Australia? Cooking I can't even imagine trying to cook a turkey in a microwave. My microwave is for rapidly heating something. That's about it, you know. Leftovers from the night before, pop them in the microwave.
You bet.
Definitely.
Bag of popcorn.
Sure.
Minutes, you're ready to go.
Heat up a sandwich to get the cheese all melty, without a doubt. That's right, Kev. I was telling somebody the other day, I remember the first time I ever saw a Pac-Man machine. Where I was, I don't know why this memory always stuck with me, but it was sort of the advent of commercial video games. And it would have been about 1981. It was in New York City at a little hole-in-the-wall pizzeria. And I was there with a church group in New York City, I mean, and we had gone out late at night. We were teenagers. There was some big to do. The girls were all having their little hissy fits with each other, which for some reason some teenage girls for some reason feel the need to have their little contests of whatever. Anyway, so the male leader and me and there was one other guy. He's like, let's get out of here for a while, and so he took us out to this little pizzeria in New York City, and they had a Pac-Man machine, and we were just enthralled by Pac-Man. Neverwinter Nights with procedural dungeons and treasures. Oh, nice, Eric. Ray Trace isn't new. It's been around a long while. Sure. As have procedural dungeons. Speaking of procedural worlds, I've kind of been looking at Valheim a little bit lately. I just played it a smidge a few months ago, right before I moved, and then I never got back to it. There we go. All those bales are done. Plus, I don't know if you noticed, but I've got full bale stacks pretty much next to every pig. These all came from this year's harvest, by the way. Probably a couple hundred bales. At least a couple hundred bales. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, not just Pac-Man, but a bunch of different games, Midge. You could actually eat at the table and play Pac-Man while you were eating if you wanted to. Yep, definitely remember those. That's what we got to do. Okay, this will be wheat. And we'll put him back over on the wheat field. And the other Fent will go to the barley field. And I sell no crop, by the way. I have not yet on this map sold any single crop outright. It always gets produced into something, and most of what I produce now goes to make pig feed. So when you're farming, Too Cool, do you do animals and all of that, or are you just an arable farmer?
I do cows, sheep, and chickens. pigs. Some, yeah, I've done them one time,
Yeah,
but
pigs aren't everybody's favorite.
I think they're not my favorite because I have to have what potatoes and sugar beets,
Yep.
and
If
I I feel like you about potatoes or sugar beets.
I'll just
I'm probably worse than you.
well, I found the mods that make them not quite so painful, but I'll never forget the first time I ever did potatoes. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. No clue. Just like so many other people have learned, it's great when somebody comes into the Discords like, I just worked on a potato contract for 87 hours. And yes, I'm
Great.
totally exaggerating.
Yeah.
And I'm like, welcome to your farm sim initiation.
Yep. I've been initiated, and I don't want any more
Nope.
initiations. I'll be right back.
All right. Switch this guy to barley. Perfect. Checking on my motors to make sure they're shut down. Good. All right. That means it's time to go to September. Finally used the cow barn with the robot. Yeah, it is pretty cool. It's fun to watch a few times just to see exactly what it's doing. Alright, the fields I planted today are all going to need to be fertilized. First things first. That works. And you are barley. Thank God for Caveman's direct drill. I haven't looked at it directly, Peter. I've talked to folks about it, and I did look at the description. I haven't loaded it or anything. It's interesting. It's quite different from the version we know and love. No headlands. I accidentally planted a patch of sunflowers on this field. I want to make sure that he, yep, perfect. That was obnoxiously loud. Now, not every tractor I have on this farm is a Fendt. This is a Deutzfahr. Anyway, yeah, the new version of Wilhelmina, I'm just not sure about it, but then I have a hard time going back. Like playing a map that I've already played. I know there are people, you know, when they see a map get ported over from 19 or from 17 to 19 or 19 to 22, and they're like, oh man, it's finally come to 22. And I'm like, but I played that in 19. Why do I want to go back? But then there are people who are just diehard fans of specific maps. I can tell you right now, since I've played No Man's Land here, you'll never see me play it again once I leave it. That's just the way I roll, and for better or for worse, I just can't repeat myself, except when I'm talking, and then I do it repetitively. Definitely go with the eggs and bacon. Especially if they're over easy eggs in butter with a little salt and pepper. Because then, you know, you can break up the yolks and mix them right in with your hash browns. Oh, that's good eating there. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, that's one of the things I heard, Peter, was that there are no more trails like Wilhelmina has. That it's just solid trees, and if you want roads or trails, you're gonna have to make them yourself. Well, I didn't anticipate that, but I'll take advantage of it. Perfect. Eggs and bacon and hash browns, oh my. Maybe melt some cheese on those hash browns. Yum. Little diced onion. Sauteed onion, mix them in with the hash browns. Darn it, iPlay, you're gonna make me hungry now. Actually, I'm just doing it to myself. Somebody asked me the other day if I was running my equipment at higher than the recommended speed. I said nope. Suggested work speed's right there on the screen. It says 28, and my cruise control is set to 28. Ah, there you go, iPlay. A woman after my own heart. I mean, if you like your hash browns plain, by all means, enjoy, but I feel like hash browns just need to be fancified a little bit. Hey Dad, how are you doing? Don't forget the grits. No self-respecting Southerner cooks instant grits. Name that movie. No worries, Peter. No worries. It would be lovely to try, of course. My go-to has always been my mom's meatloaf recipe, and honestly, when I was a kid, meatloaf was probably the favorite meal of mine that she cooked. If Mom was making meatloaf, Harv was a happy camper. Why, you might ask? Well, because, being a kid, we don't necessarily always have a sense of propriety. We only have a sense of self. And myself said, if there's meatloaf, that means there's lots of it, and I don't have to worry about not taking an extra piece so somebody else can have it. Oh, absolutely. I play lots of butter. You and Julia Child. That's right, Midge. Do physics work differently in your kitchen? And how did you cook your grits in 5 minutes when it takes the rest of the grit eating world 20 minutes to cook their grits? Such a fun movie. That's right, Kevin. That's right, My Cousin Vinny. Oh my, Marissa Tomei. If you've never seen My Cousin Vinny, it's worth watching it just for Marissa Tomei, who I'm pretty sure won an Oscar for her performance. It was brilliant, and she was quite attractive. And Joe Pesci, of course. After seeing him in Goodfellas, you're like, wait a minute, this guy's trying to do a comedy role? And he actually pulls it off quite well. Plus, it's the last time you get to see Herman Munster in a role outside of the Munsters. Exactly, Midge. No worries, Peter. I appreciate the effort, man. I always love to try new recipes, especially when they come so highly recommended. Because yours was an award-winning recipe, right? I'm pretty sure you told me that a while back. And I thought, heck yeah, I might just like to try an award-winning recipe for meatloaf. He's a singer too. Okay, I didn't know he was a singer, and I'm actually almost a little bit disturbed by the thought, but so that cedar should have been back by now. Where has he gotten off to? I'd better go check on him because he's only done one pass. No, that's you. What the? Yeah, he sure did, Kevin. That's absolutely right. I forgot about that one. So, my course play helper screwed up. I knew that course looked weird for some reason. I don't know what happened. Let's try just resetting the whole course and see if he won't do it right for a change. Oh, maybe. Yeah, we'll find out. It's not generating the course properly. I mean, this is a straight field. So why? Let's do this automatic. That's better. Very, very strange. That's awesome, Peter. Fantastic. Advanced credit for the recipe and the taste. Very nice. So Joe Pesci did 3 albums. The last was in 2019. Oh, and what I saw just before, I announced this on stream on Wednesday, but James Caan died this week, which is just a crying shame. Such a great actor. But then, I don't know how many Sopranos fans there are out there. The guy, and I'm going to butcher, I'm not going to be able to remember his name, but the guy who played Paulie Gutierrez, Paulie, you know, the guy with the wings in his hair, he passed away just either today or yesterday. Losing a lot of great actors these days. Yeah, that's amazing for a Friday night impromptu. Especially when I can't drive because I'm trying to look up actors' names. Tony Sirico. I never knew his name, but he was totally recognizable. Anytime you saw him, you're like, that's the guy from The Sopranos. Every time. Wow, that worker was really screwed up. He crossed over and planted over some of my canola. Oh well, life goes on. That's exactly right, Eric. That's what I was just saying before I was talking about Tony Sirico. James Caan. He was Sonny, the older brother in The Godfather. He got gunned down on the causeway, if you remember that. He played the writer in the movie Misery. He was also Buddy's dad in the movie Elf. If you remember the movie Elf at all. Well, I'm sure Elf is probably the most recent thing that I remember seeing him in. Good helpers really are hard to find. Exactly, Midge. Exactly.
What was the lady's name that played that crazy lady on Misery? What was that actress name?
Kathy Bates.
Oh yeah, Kathy. She is so good. She's one of my favorites.
she's still out there. She played the unsinkable Molly Brown in Titanic.
Yeah. Anything she plays is I believe she deserves some kind of an award for anything she does. She is that good.
Wow.
To me.
She's good. She is very good. Oh man, one of her best roles, and this is one of my favorite movies. It's such a heartwarming film. Fried Green Tomatoes.
Yep.
Such a great movie. All right. That's it. Just checking my FERT. Perfect. Oh, she played the mama in The Water Boy. Man, I haven't seen that in so long. I forgot about that. I'd actually have to take your word for it. It's been so long, I don't remember. You better defuse that bomb. Too cool.
I'm sorry.
I said you better defuse that bomb.
Oh, I'm starting up.
Alright, let's see where we stand. No contracts on No Man's Land, so not like I can keep busy by doing anything other than myself. Whew, look at all those pigs. These are my newest pigs. They're 4 months old. They're not even out of puberty yet. They got to hit 6 months before they reach puberty, and I want to see exactly when they give birth the first time. And then I've just got a wide range from 4 months all the way up. Actually, we might have some newborns at this point. 3 months.
What do you do with those pigs?
Fatten them up and take them to market.
Oh, okay. I don't even know. I don't know what. I'd messed with pigs in so long, I didn't know what they were good for.
In fact, I've got 120 that I should go ahead and sell. They just gave birth, and there's not room for them to. Not room in the pen.
So you have to load them up on an animal trailer and take them to the slaughterhouse or the factory or whatever?
To the animal dealer. You just take them back to
Yeah.
the animal dealer. Well, thank you. Thank you. Is it Super JJB Cool? Thank you very much, man. You know, this leads me to believe that I just need to spend a couple $100.
Caveman must have been busy tonight.
He hasn't been around for several Fridays now.
Yeah.
He gets busy. Tools, that's what I want. I want seeds. This is the perfect spot for these two. And liquid fertilizer.
Nothing wrong with getting busy.
I wouldn't know.
Sure, you're busy during the day all the time, Harv.
Oh, you mean actual busy? I thought you were talking about the other kind of getting busy. I'm like,
I don't know caveman that well.
fair enough. Thick sliced bacon, and if it was any thinner, you could see through. Oh, that's lame. Bacon is the fairy dust of the food world. Why is this not?
I believe that is true. Love me some bacon.
I did buy liquid fertilizer, right? I'm sure that was liquid fertilizer. So why is it not giving me a fill trigger?
Check this. Check that. I tried my hand at what's called pig shots last weekend. Have you ever heard of these, Harv? Pig shots?
What's a pig shot?
Well, they're a little appetizer, and what you do is you take a sausage link and cut the sausage into about half-inch pieces, and then you take a piece of bacon and you wrap it around this sausage piece so that the top of the sausage, so it makes a cup, kind of like a little shot glass.
Okay.
The bacon creates a space, and then what you do is you put some cream cheese in the top, and then some cheese over it, and then you barbecue it for, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes or whatever, and makes a good little appetizer. And they were so good.
What's the bottom of the shot glass you're making?
The sausage.
Okay, so you take like a slice of sausage and wrap a piece of bacon around it.
Yeah. So that it makes a cup.
Right.
And then you throw the cream cheese in there, in the cup part.
Yeah, that sounds pretty freaking amazing, actually.
Oh, they were so good. That bacon gets crispy, and then with the sausage flavor, and then the cream cheese on top of it. And they were. I'll be doing those again.
You think?
Yeah.
I'm going to do the same thing right here. Tools. Except I want to get these out of the way, so I'll put them over here.
I hear you, I play. That is the truth.
So do you, is it just, because you don't barbecue the cream cheese, do you? It would all get melty and runny, right? So.
No, it stays in there. It stays in there, and it doesn't melt and runny or anything like that. It just, I don't know how it does it, but it does. You wrap the bacon around the sausage, and then you put a toothpick around, through the whole thing so that the bacon doesn't come off.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can see it in my mind's eye exactly what it looks like. So do you mix anything in the cream cheese, or just straight cream cheese?
I guess you could, but I didn't do it. Put some cheese
fine.
over it. Some what kind of cheese? Colby cheese.
Right. Maybe put something like that, or maybe some pepper jack on top and throw it under a broiler so you get it like the cheese brown and crispy.
It's be the same thing. Yeah.
Why are these fill points just giving me so many fits today?
We'll see you, KP.
All right, Kev, you have a good night, buddy. And a great weekend, my friend. We'll see you Sunday. The one downside of the Kinsey planters, and this is not a caveman issue, it's a Kinsey planter issue, is the fill trigger boxes
Yep, that's the problem I have too.
are very hard to find.
Yep.
Oh, I can understand that, Dad. And yeah, I haven't had a stroke myself, but I saw how devastating it was. Not to get on a sad note, it's Friday night, and we like to keep things a little more upbeat and positive. But just to say, I saw how devastating that was for my mother. So totally understand that, bud. Let's put it this way: giving up bacon would be very, very difficult, though. Can we get back to work now? Thank you. Solid water. Solid water. You put this block in a container and just add water. It's dehydrated water. Just add water. All right, guys. Time to have a little bit of a chat with Mother Nature. Be back in just a minute.
Sounds good. I'll be here. Sounds like it to me, Dad. Solid water. B-Mids, I've seen those little, like, what do they call those little water marbles where you add more water to them and they get bigger. I don't know if that's something like what you're talking about. Crystal. I'll have to check that out.
So, solid water looks like a crystal. 10 grams absorbs a liter of water. What's the purpose?
I guess you don't have to water plants as often. That's something I could use.
So, what, you mix it in with your soil, and when you water, it absorbs the water and releases it over time. I am intrigued by the concept. Oh, this guy's done. Oops. He's done in so much as I've got to go finish up the little bits that he missed, but used in, yeah, okay, that makes sense. So if you did mix something like that in with your soil, it would make the soil more moisture absorbent. Yeah, that makes that's got a good amount of sense to it. Depends on how cost effective it is. What's the cost benefit ratio to it? Because farmers have so much expense right now. I was reading earlier today, actually, that your average farmer makes 17 cents for every dollar that their product generates at a supermarket or otherwise. So they only get 17%. Now you also have to figure, you know, for example, a wheat farmer selling wheat, somebody's got to process that into flour, so the cost of, you know, the manufacturing cost of flour is going to be included in there, in that dollar. So it could be a little bit misleading because there's added expense after the fact, but it's still an interesting little bit of information. And actually, you know, there are hundreds of thousands of farms in the United States alone, and only 40% of those farms turn an actual profit.
Oh, wow.
Farming is a risky business. As of 2018, the average age of the American farmer, let me put it to you this way. I'm younger than the average age of the American farmer.
Wow.
Young people are not interested in going into agriculture anymore. For whatever reason, the family farms aren't getting handed down. The average age of the American farmer is 58 years old. It's funny, you know, I've watched some YouTube stuff of these guys who start up their little hobby farms or whatever you want to call them, you know. And they you know, they go out and they buy used equipment, and this is the thing, guys. If you want to get started in agriculture, set aside $250,000. And I'm not exaggerating this at all.
No. Yeah.
To get a small piece of land, maybe, you know, 10 acres or so, and all the equipment that you're going to need, and money for operating expenses once things get up and running, bust out $250,000. No exaggeration. But, you know, you see these guys who are doing hobby farms, you know, on YouTube or whatever, and of course, and I'm not talking about the bigger guys, you know, like 10th generation dairymen. Those guys have been in operation forever. But these guys they're just starting up. Well, they always come from the city. They always have a huge bankroll because they were in some profession they just had to walk away from. You know, it's like they have all of the financial advantages up front to begin with. So it's not as big of a risk as it would be for, say, you or I. But, you know, I talked to a guy on the phone a few weeks back, and he's very excited. He found a piece of property in Nevada. He's moving to Nevada from Illinois to start up in agriculture. He's looking at all day. He's doing his research. He's contacting us to get more information and see what we can do to help him out. But he already knows he's going to have a full-time job to support the family while he gets the farm up and running and all of that stuff. And
has he looked at any land yet?
He actually bought a piece of land.
How much? How big?
I want to say 20 acres.
Okay.
If I remember right, it was 20 acres. He's looking at his options. He bought it through some internet brokerage or something. You know, it's in a desert area. He knows he's going to have to sink wells and all of that. He's worked on farms before, but he's never run an operation of his own. His kids are very interested in helping out, and that's kind of one of the big motivators for him, I think. He's excited. He was talking a mile a minute. I mean, he was so excited about the whole idea. Just, you know, rattling off this, that, and the other thing, and he's given me his whole background and everything, and I'm like, you know, we do these programs, but our programs aren't dependent on your farming resume. Like,
right.
You know, we don't care how much farming experience you've had. So anyway, it can be done. Where there's a will, there is a way. Lifehawk, internet outage all day long. Just came back on 9 minutes ago. Wow, that sucks. Huge. I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm glad you made it with us for a little bit anyway. Ag tech is good money. Running a farm, not so much. Yeah, I could see that, Midge. Probably your better choice almost is to be, you know, buy some equipment and contract for a while. Because there are always farmers looking for, you know, to pay some. I mean, your average farmer cannot go out and buy a combine or a harvester. You know, and as expensive as they are in the game, in the real world, I mean, in the game, we've got options. We can go buy used equipment or smaller equipment or stuff for less than $100,000. Farmers don't always have that choice depending on the area that they live in. So it is what it is. But, you know, they'll contract that kind of thing. Peter, you're looking at buying a 15-acre property not too far from... That's cool, man. Absolute 15 acres of veggies. That's what I'm talking about. So let's see. I have my wheat harvested, bales collected, barley replanted, canola replanted, wheat is almost done being replanted. Oh, I gotta remember to sell those pigs. They just gave birth and they're at full price, so I can sell 120 pigs. I'll make about 120,000. That'll get me through to sale time. Very nice indeed. And of course, you know, especially in the, at least where I live, you know, animal farming is a whole other ball game. That brings with it a whole set of headaches that you may or may not be prepared for if you want to go in. Now, chickens, everybody does chickens. Like, chickens are easy. My boss actually does chickens, and she just for the first time decided to do a few turkeys just in time to fatten up for the Thanksgiving holiday and whatnot. She loves to come in and tell stories about how stupid turkeys are. Like, they're just the dumbest creatures ever, I guess. She's one of those people that, you know, she's not a farmer. She has a house that has a couple acres on it, and so she's always trying new and interesting. She's one of those, I would call them inquisitive type people. You know, people who just want to try everything. And it's very cool. Like, and it's impressive because she's got her hand in bees and making honey. She's doing chickens. She's doing turkeys, and who knows what else she'll be into. You know, she's a baker and a wannabe chef sometimes, but she grew up on a ranch, and she has some of the most amazing stories. And her family has no end of brushes with celebrity. I want to say her grandmother has the private cell phone number given to her freely by Gordon Ramsay. And if you know who Gordon Ramsay is, he's the guy who does Hell's Kitchen. You know, that jerk of a British chef who screams at everybody and says, "This sucks." But apparently he took a liking to her, and she took a liking to him, and he gave her his cell phone number, so it's good stuff. Kubota dealer down the road from me, wonder if I can work there with just farm sim knowledge. True story, Midge. This is the God's honest truth. I have no farm experience whatsoever. I have extremely limited real-world farm knowledge. Most of the knowledge I get, I'm a researcher. That's what I do best. I look up information, and I'm just a curious person, so I'm always trying to learn something new. My previous job, I was responsible for administering programs at the state government level. And while I was doing so, well, I left that job. I'm not going to go into why. There's an X involved, and that's just best left not discussed. Anyway, I had worked indirectly by phone and mail and whatnot with a lot of people from the agency that I work with now. And I had some knowledge of the financial side of agriculture, a little bit, because of my previous job. And I'm like, maybe, you know, that would be a good place where my skills would line up with what I know about administering programs and whatnot. I was an administrator. Well, I soon realized applying for those jobs, but I had it in my head that this was the agency I absolutely wanted to work for. I had it in my head that that's what I was going to do. So I had no agricultural knowledge, and I have to tell you, this job that I'm doing requires a lot, a very solid understanding of agriculture and different practices and everything. And I realized I didn't have that knowledge. And the whole reason there is a Harv's World, the whole reason that you're with me here tonight, is because I wanted to learn enough about agriculture to get the bloody job that I finally got. And I did it with Farming Simulator 2019. And that's the God's honest truth. The reason I started playing Farm Sim was to learn what I needed to learn to be able to get the job that I wanted to have, and I finally got it. And I managed to meet all of you amazing people along the way and start up a little bit of a worldwide phenomenon. Not much of a phenomenon, but it's enough. I'm happy. It's been amazing. I mean, too cool. Would you even know who I was if it wasn't for Harv's World? Not a chance.
Great night.
But I mean, so many amazing people from Canada. I've had a great following from Australia, from the UK. I've never met anybody from any of those places before, and it's just been phenomenal. And it's all because I wanted a job, and I needed to learn more to be able to do that job. And I did it because of Giants and their Farming Simulator game. And while I do get frustrated with it sometimes, I have nothing but to be grateful for this silly little game. It is where I am. Psycho Kid, how you been, buddy? I'm sure he is, Dad. You know how those reality TV shows are. Eric, that's absolutely true. There's not much land to be had in Nevada. Well, there's still plenty of land to purchase in Nevada. However, keep in mind that the BLM and the U.S. Forest Service do own about 90% of the land in the state of Nevada. However, they constantly write permits, grazing permits for all of their land so that ranchers can put their cattle out on BLM or Forest Service land in order to graze. That's something I deal with in my job all the time. I probably look at a Bureau of Land Management or a U.S. Forest Service permit at least 6 times a day. Different ones, no less.
So they kind of rent the land?
That's exactly what they do. And they manage it too. So they'll say, this area has 40,000 acres on it. Between that's a little early, May 1st and September 30th, you can put 500 head of cattle on this land. The reason that they say 500 head of cattle is because they've determined how much growing feed is available over that 5-month period. There's, especially in animal agriculture, you have to know your capacity. In Nevada, to feed one animal, one cow, for 1 month on open pasture, it takes 31 acres. That's one animal every 31 acres.
Wow.
It's because it's so dry and there's such limited growth. We are in the desert. Doing good, Psycho Kid. Doing real good. Friday night. Adolphus Core's by my side. You fine folks. Unfortunately, it has been a long week. And I think that's probably going to do it for the first impromptu I've done in a little bit, but it's good to get back on the Friday night bandwagon for now. As always, you guys are awesome. Peter Tutton, Midge, Psycho Kid, Eric Coons, too cool. It's been great hanging with you tonight, bud. I appreciate you chatting it up. It really helps. Yeah, having somebody to chat with. And everybody else, I play. Save me some breakfast. I'll be over in a bit. You guys have a fantastic weekend. We will be back on Sunday, pushing toward that $1 million a month challenge. That's $1 million a month. Peter, to answer your question quickly, yes, the world tour is still a thing. I just don't have it in me to make videos right now, but I will try to get back to them as soon as possible. I will keep repeating that over and over again, but anyway, join us on Sunday. Caveman and Sharko should be with me. Not Sharko, he's working. Anyway, guys, as always, I very much appreciate you coming along for the ride. And until next time, take care.
Still there, Harv?